Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Anbernic RG35XX. It's very obvious that this is Anbernic's response to the market that the Miyoo Mini created. That market being a handheld that is low spec, has a premium build quality, an excellent screen, nostalgic form factor, and most importantly, low cost. But is this thing a true competitor to the Miyoo Mini, or is it just a quick attempt to capitalize on their supply issues? Let's find out. Inside the box, you have the RG35XX itself, a USB Type-C cable for charging and data transfer, a set of instructions, and an optional screen protector. For the sake of this video, I'm going to try my best to pretend that the Miyoo Mini doesn't exist and look at this thing through a fresh set of eyes. Its overall design and button layout is modeled after the original Game Boy, with the exception being this one has 4 face buttons instead of 2. Over on its backside, it has 4 back buttons, which are laid out in a comfortable position but are a tad bit rattly, giving a somewhat cheap feel. It's actually really comfortable to hold and is a bit larger in size than its competition, so it may actually be more preferable to those with larger hands. The quality of the D-pad is excellent. The face buttons are alright. The start and select button feel a tad bit cheaply made. Over on the one side, you have the power button, a reset button, as well as 2 micro SD card slots. One for the operating system, another one for expandable memory. Over on the other side, you'll find the volume up and down, and on its bottom side, you'll find a 3.5mm headphone jack, as well as a USB Type-C port that can actually be used as an input for external gamepads. Another key feature you'll find on the RG35XX is the fact that it has HDMI output. To see a handheld at this price point that can double as a home console is pretty impressive. Spec-wise, it's what you would expect from a console at this price. You're definitely not getting high-end emulation performance, but it can comfortably emulate up to PlayStation 1. Powering on the RG35XX, the operating system honestly is kind of flat. If you do a bit of digging, you can find some custom operating systems that are a lot more visually appealing, but out the box, its interface is definitely not the most impressive. One thing that is impressive is its pre-installed selection of games. I have to say, when it comes to similar handhelds, the RG35XX probably has the most impressive ROM set. You're going to get solid performance playing all of your favorite arcade classics. There's even a category for vertical arcade games, which it's a little awkward to hold the console in this position, but it's still a really cool feature to have. All of your 8-bit and 16-bit titles are going to run decent as well, with the exception of Sega Genesis. While some games ran flawless, there were others that ran a little bit choppy. Now would be a good time to talk about its screen. This 3.5-inch IPS display is beautiful. The colors are nice and vibrant, and it makes all of these retro games look absolutely gorgeous. However, it's not without its flaws. While playing some retro handheld titles, I noticed a bit of bleeding on the edges. It definitely wasn't distracting enough to take away from the enjoyment of the gameplay, but it was still present nonetheless. Now, where I feel this handheld truly excels is with its PlayStation 1 performance. Not only does it come loaded with a really solid PS1 library pre-installed, it ran all of these games beautifully and far exceeded my expectation. In this regard, it actually outperforms the Miyoo Mini with its PS1 prowess. I know I promised to keep the comparisons to a minimum in this video, but I just had to state that fact. So the Anbernic RG35XX. Like I said at the beginning of this video, it's very obvious this was made in response to the Miyoo Mini. That's impossible to ignore. So now the real question is, who is this handheld made for? If you're someone who was dead set on getting your hands on a Miyoo Mini, but due to the supply shortage, you are unable to and you're looking for an alternative, you're probably better off holding out for a Miyoo Mini. I'm not saying the Miyoo is necessarily better, but these two consoles have their own strengths and weaknesses. Although the RG35XX has a really solid build quality, it's lacking that premium build quality that you'll see in its competitor. Now, what it lacks in terms of design, it makes up for with its massive game library, as well as its HDMI output. This handheld is great for someone who wants something that works and doesn't want to do a lot of legwork adding their own ROMs. It's also great for someone whose most fond memories are playing PlayStation 1. You can make the argument that this is one of the better PS1 handhelds within this price point. When it comes to Anbernic devices, this one lacks the creativity and care we've seen out of them in the past. But for the price, the amount of games and features such as TV output, you're getting a lot of value for a low price. If you guys are interested in the Anbernic RG35XX, I'll put links in the description below. Until next time, this is Ness, signing out.